Hello everybody, it's Nikki from Mouths of Mums. How are you? Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your afternoon to join me for Mum Cook Club Live. Today I thought that I would show you a super simple, super quick, super easy and super yummy little tiny recipe. They are perfect if you want to pop them in the freezer for lunches, or if you are having some friends around for morning tea, or you're doing a little high tea party, a baby shower, anything, these are absolutely perfect. Now, I don't know if you joined me last week when we actually made a big batch of marmalade that was from Paddington 2, the movie that's out soon in cinemas. That actually starts on the 21st of December. So if your kids are Paddington Bear fans, you definitely need to mark that in your diary. That's the 21st of December. So what we did was we actually had a big batch of marmalade, and I wanted to show you how you can actually use that marmalade really easily and really simply to make some really quick little baby marmalade cakes. Normally if you're making like a Middle Eastern orange kind of cake, you would actually boil the oranges for a couple of hours beforehand, and then you'd add a whole lot of sugar as well as your other ingredients. But the great thing about the marmalade is that all of that has already been done for us. So let's have a look. I know that I've got my big boy helping me today, but Toby showed you these earlier. So this is what we're going to end up with. This is a batch that I made this afternoon just so that you can see what the end product would look like. You can see that we've used a little tiny muffin tin to get our little baby cupcakes, and then I've just put some little icing on the top. Oh, there's a little ant. He likes the sugar too. Hello, ant. Right, we'll pop that over there. So let me show you literally how easy this is. So in here we've got 2 cups of our Paddington Bear marmalade. I've already measured that out. I'm just literally going to pop that into our food processor. You could use your blender, you could use a normal stand mixer if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. I have got 3 eggs there, which we've already cracked. We're going to throw those eggs in there with the marmalade. There we go. I have got in here 2 cups of almond meal that we can pop in there. Tobes, make sure you let me know if anybody's got any questions as we go, or if anybody is saying anything. I've got 1 cup of desiccated coconut. You could use shredded coconut if you wanted to, but I've got desiccated coconut, which I'm throwing in there. And then the very last ingredient, which I find gives any kind of little cupcakes or these moist kind of dense little cakes, I have got some natural yogurt. Now obviously I'm using our Woolies Skyr yogurt because we have got that on review at the moment. We are actually selecting our mums tonight to review that. So keep your eye on your email tomorrow. If you've been one of those mums selected, we will let you know. But this Skyr is beautiful. It's really good for baking. It's great for dips. It's great for everything. But I'm literally going to dump that all in. That's 170 grams, just under a cup. Obviously you don't need to use Skyr, but I had it in the fridge, so I'm going to pop that in there. So literally that is it. You don't need to worry about being too precious with this mixture. You can literally jam that lid on, squash that down, and then I'm just going to literally give that a big lick. Now literally that was 8 seconds. Depending on your food processor, depending on how powerful it is, you might need to leave that for a little bit longer. The other thing is, depending on how smooth you want all your little pieces of orange to go that are in your marmalade, you can leave that for a little bit longer. But let's have a look and see how that has come up. Oh, that is looking good. I'm just going to stir the sides of that down just a tiny little bit. Here we go. And pop that down like that. There we are. I'm going to give that 2 more seconds in that food processor. Now, as I say, any food processor will do, or you could use a stand mixer. Obviously with your food processor, that's going to chop up your little marmalade chunks a little bit more. Right. Takes a minute for the lid to come off this one. There we go. So then literally all we are going to do is give our little, I've got a little tiny muffin tray here. I love this one. You can buy that in any of your supermarkets, and it's that little baby one there. So all you really want to do here is give that a quick little spritz, just like so. There we go, a little bit of cooking spray. And then we are literally going to spoon that mixture in to those little patty tins. Now I'm trying to be careful, but you could actually transfer this into a little jug if you wanted to. Depending on how thick you like your mixture, you could even make that a little bit denser with some more almond meal, but I like it to be quite light. This is a great recipe too if you have anybody in the family who is intolerant to gluten, because obviously there's no flour in here. So it is pretty good. Obviously no good for people who have an nut allergy because of all the almond meal.
Lactose as well.
Sorry, darling?
And lactose.
Oh yeah, and there's no lactose, of course. Thanks, Tobes. So have you got your kids on school holidays yet? Mine have got one more day to go, and they are all begging me to let them have the last day off school, but there is no way that I am going to let them, because I'm sure the teachers have got something planned for them tomorrow. I'm not going to put you through the pain of watching me do all of that, because you can obviously see what we need to do here. You would just keep filling that up. Then you would pop that into the oven. What I do in terms of the oven is I keep it fairly low for these ones because it does take a little bit longer to cook through. So I tend to have my oven on about 160 if it's a fan-forced oven. And then when I made the batch this afternoon, I found that they took about 15 minutes to cook through. So that's what we would do there. We would actually throw him into the throw those into the oven. I tend to rotate them halfway around. My oven's a little bit dodgy, so I do that. But then once they come out, they'll come out really easily. And then here we go. Here's some I prepared earlier. I just wanted to show you a little tiny trick. Now I have got here, I discovered that I didn't actually have a piping bag for our icing, and I've just used a store-bought icing today. You can use any of those brands that you've got, but I didn't have a piping bag. But what I did have was a big Ziploc bag. So what I've done is I got my little piping nozzle and I cut a little hole in the corner of a Ziploc bag, and then I've just stuck that down there. So that actually makes a brilliant piping bag. So all I'm going to do here, obviously the sky is the limit in terms of how you'd like to decorate it, but I just wanted to show you how easy this comes together, how easily this comes together. If you didn't have a piping nozzle, you can actually just cut the corner off your Ziploc bag. This is a bigger one, so it's pretty tough too, so it holds its shape. But literally, you've got your little tiny orange cakes there, and we're literally just going to do a little squirt there, and a doop, let him go. Just a little swirl around, and then boop, gives you a little peek. A little swirl around, and then boop. Swirl him around there and up. Swirl him around there and up. Now obviously we've got Christmas around the corner, so if you wanted to, you could pop a little tiny bit of holly on here. You could put some little M&Ms. You could pop some little tiny cranberries on there. You might find some, what else could you put on there for Christmas? Even a little bit of cinnamon would be really pretty. But what I've got here is I just pulled a couple of little tiny pieces of orange out of the marmalade earlier on, and I just thought that that could look quite cute on there. I mean, obviously they look great the way they are too, just with that little thing poking up. But if you do want to go that little extra mile and decorate them, you can do that. So I don't know if you've been joining us, but I took my girls to see, we actually went to the Australian premiere of Paddington 2 a couple of weekends ago, and my goodness, it is so much fun. It is so fabulous. Paddington is as gorgeous as ever, and he's all around London having a great time. But he actually ends up in jail, and he teaches the cook in jail how to actually make his marmalade, and then they end up having a lovely high tea for all of the prisoners.
Mum, spoilers.
Oh, sorry, spoilers. It's kind of in the shorts, so... Actually, we should have watched the trailer today. If you can get your hands on the trailer, get the kids to have a look. It would be the perfect Christmas present to give them some tickets to go and see Paddington 2. So yeah, pop that in your diary. It is a lovely, lovely movie and perfect for the whole family. I've got a little bit of toasted coconut here. If you wanted to, you could then put a little sprinkle over the top there. It really is up to you. If you had some little blueberries, you could pop some blueberries on top, or a raspberry, or whatever you like really. if you were making your icing, you could make that into a nice orange icing. As I said, Paddington actually puts a little bit of cinnamon in his marmalade, so you could even sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on top. So here we go. They are our little tiny baby marmalade cakes. Now all we need to do is make our cup of tea. So I wanted to show you this amazing little kettle that we've got here. This is from KitchenAid. Now what I love about this kettle is depending on the blend of tea that you are using, you can actually change. So apparently, according to Google, the perfect temperature for English breakfast tea is 90 degrees Celsius. So I've actually set that there. We're going to boil him there. And then while it's boiling, this kettle actually converts into a teapot. So what you do while your water is boiling is you actually take your strong cup of tea. But if you're anything like me, there is nothing better than a nice hot cup of tea with something very cute. Now these are these little cups I bought years and years and years ago when my children were tiny little bears, and they still use them to this day for their cup of tea. But it is very cute to see them in the mornings having a tiny little cup of tea there. Obviously when they were babies it was just milk or water, and now they've actually progressed on to tea because they are a little bit bigger and they do love the whole ceremony of a cup of tea. So you can see that that's boiling away there. Shouldn't be much longer. So I don't know if you remember when we made the marmalade, but this is how we package them up. Oh, I've got a few little ants going on here. They love the sugar. These are the ones we got at the movie, which were fantastic. And then I made these ones and we put that little bit of cloth on the top. There we go. So that one's ready to go. So literally all you do is take this off here, take the lid off there. It's good too because it's not very hot. And then literally you just clip him in here, clip that in there, take that out of its stand, and then put him in there and lock that away. So that is going to steep now. You can see that that's starting to steep. And that is going to brew into a beautiful cup of tea. So in a few minutes that is going to be ready for me to have a little cup of tea. I will have that just before I start dinner tonight. What are you having for dinner at yours tonight? You could whip these up now if you've got some marmalade in the cupboard, and then you could have them for dessert with a little bit of ice cream, or obviously they would be perfect for the kids for lunch, if they're allowed to take nuts obviously, but perfect for during the school holidays. So this is it. I'm going to let that steep. Toby and I will have a little cup of tea. Do you want to try one, Tobes? You don't want to try one now?
No,
the girls were dying. The girls were dying to have one, so I think I'll let them come down and attack them now. But thank you very much for joining me. Were there any questions at all, Toby, from anybody? These are our baby marmalade cupcakes that we made today. They're actually smaller than cupcakes, so they're baby cupcakes. Proudly brought to you by Paddington 2, which is out in cinemas on the 21st of December, and using a whole big jar of Paddington's marmalade. Thanks for joining us. Lots of love. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.